Hey guys, Dawn here, getting ready to go out and do my Uber thing. It's Saturday night. Saturday nights usually aren't the best, at least not in my town, but you got to give it a try. And lately I've been getting a lot of questions about doing Uber. Mainly, is it worth it and what can they expect? Because apparently there's a lot of other people out there that are in the same position as I am. Some older folks that are trying to find a job, and well, there's not a lot of options out there, and they're wondering if Uber's even worth it. Well, I want to talk about that because personally, for me, in my area, I think it is. But it may not be for everyone. So let me talk about it. Let me explain a few things before you decide to do it, because I want you to know what you're getting into. Hey guys, I just finished my shift working Uber Saturday night, and I did pretty good. But a lot of people have been asking me lately about doing gig work, Uber specifically, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to come home and do a video on it and let you guys know from my perspective what I think about it. Because honestly, I like it. It's been working out really well for me. And a lot of people were like, no, 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 don't do it. You're going to put miles on your car, and it's just, you're not going to make any money, and just on and on. Well, you know what? It's been the best option. Well, actually, it's been the only option. Like I said, I applied and sent out resumes and have yet to hear as much as a whisper from any of those jobs. So, in the meantime, I'm going to continue doing Uber. Is it a career? No. Do I want to do it forever? No, again. But for right now, it's money. And that's what I'm looking for. I need to make money. So I'm going to tell you the advantages of doing it, and I'll tell you some of the cons, and then you can decide for yourself if you want to do this. The first advantage is they hire anybody. If you have a registered car and it's insured and you have a valid driver's license and can pass a background check, you're hired. There's no waiting list, unlike most of the other jobs like Amazon Flex, Instacart, DoorDash, any of those. They all have a waiting list a mile long. I know because I'm on all of them and have yet to hear from any of them. Uber was the only one that took me in right away. So that's the first advantage to doing Uber. The second advantage is you can call your own schedule. You can decide when and how long you want to work. You can go in when you feel like it. There's no set schedule. I know with DoorDash, you have to check and see if there's availability that afternoon, in whatever area you want to work in. It's not like that with Uber. Whenever I want to work, any time of day or night, I just get in my car and, press on, and I'm there. You just can't do it from home. You got to be out and in the city near the restaurants. So it offers, that flexibility. And that was one of my main concerns because I needed to work my schedule around picking up my grandkids. So if you have a situation like that and you need the flexibility, Uber's, perfect for that. There's the potential for making good money. And again, that depends on the area you're in. I live in like a retirement community, so there's a lot of people up here that don't drive anymore, and they're looking for people to deliver their groceries or food. So it's working out really well. But I would check into your area. I have heard some people say that it's dead in their area. So it all depends where you're at. Also, if you live in California, like I do, there's something called Prop 22, and you are assured of making at least minimum wage. You get a supplemental check every 2 weeks over and above your daily income for your orders. And that's another thing. You get paid daily. You can choose to do that. I have an Uber card, a MasterCard, and all my orders, all my tips go on that automatically every single day. So that's an advantage. You don't have to wait 2 weeks to get a check. Although you do get another check every 2 weeks, the supplemental check. And right now it's been averaging about $200 a week with the supplemental check. So that's really nice. Also, there's no commitment. There's no long-term contract or anything like that. You can work as little or as long as you want. There is no benefits. But you know what? None of the jobs that I have been applying to offer benefits. Very few jobs offer benefits anymore. So that wasn't even a consideration. I knew that going in, that there wasn't going to be any benefits. But honestly, it's easy. It's easy. I mean, okay, you can get some orders to deliver groceries that are heavy, and it'll tell you if it's a heavy order, and it will also tell you if you're delivering to like an apartment. It's going to be on a second story, a second floor. I've done that a few times. It's been a nice little workout, but you can choose not to accept it. You have 30 seconds after the order comes in to cancel it without it going against you. Um, the other day, this order came across, and it said, right away, it was going to be a second story and it was going to be a heavy order. I accepted it, and then I looked at it, and to me, it didn't look that heavy. If it had been like a 50-pound bag of dog food, I wouldn't have done it. But they said it was heavy because it was a lot of canned goods, and there was a couple cases of Dr. Pepper. I did have to make several trips, but it wasn't really that bad. So at least ahead of time. Another advantage is you can take someone with you. You can take your spouse with you. You can take your grandkids with you. I've done that many times. If you're younger, you're a young mom. I see a lot of young moms doing this, and the same ones, and they always have their kids with them, so you wouldn't have to pay a babysitter. My friend Diana, she goes with me a lot. She does this, and it's just fun to have somebody with you. It just makes the time go by faster. We sit and talk, we grab a coffee, and then we just hang out together. So for that, it's been really nice. So those are the advantages. The disadvantages would be the wear and tear on your vehicle. That's why I said I don't think this would be a career. I don't want to put too many miles. I do limit my miles. I won't take any jobs that are more than like 3 miles away. But I live in a small town. I can do that. I see a lot of people are working in Vegas and Florida and stuff, and they live in bigger cities, so they drive farther. They have an opportunity to make more money. But I'm able to take smaller orders and not drive as far. Like I said, I don't want to put as much wear and tear on my car, and I don't want to use as much gas. Also, if you're not a self motivator and you're not very disciplined, probably not a good choice, because you've got to be willing to go out as much as possible. I go out almost every day, and sometimes twice a day. I'll do the lunch rush and the dinner rush. I would like to go out more actually, but yeah, if you're not a self motivator, then it probably wouldn't work as well for you. The tax obligation. You get 1099. So you are responsible for taking out taxes and putting them away. Once you make over $600, then you have to start paying taxes on it. And that happens right away. So that's where I'm at. I have to start taking out the taxes. And there's a calculator online. You can go online, figure out how much you need to put away out of each check. So that's something that I have to start working on now. There's no chance for advancement. This is it. This is what you're going to do. But I've heard from different people. Some people have done really good. This is their only income. They do it all the time. They work it like a 40-hour work week, and they make good money. And some people just do it part-time as a supplemental thing. But I'll be honest with you, for me, I think this is it. I've been applying for jobs. I've sent out resumes and applications, and I haven't heard from anybody. And the jobs that I have applied for, they've all said, even though they lure you in by saying they offer between minimum wage and up to $30 an hour, ultimately they all pay minimum wage despite experience or degrees or anything. They're going to start you out at minimum wage. So I don't know what the job situation is like in your area, especially for people over 60, but in my area, it sucks. There's nothing. I should sit down and write down how many jobs I've applied for, sent resumes out. It would blow your mind. And I haven't heard from any of them. And I've gone into the places that I've applied, like retail and stuff, and they act like, I'm bothering them. They'll let me know if they're hiring. So I stopped doing that. But, you just have to make your own way. A lot of you have suggested I go back to doing community art classes, either, doing it with the kids. That's a great idea. And I am going to check into that because that's what I did before. I did community art classes. I set my own hours. I would do as many as 30 people at a time, and I charged them for supplies, and I would bring snacks or whatever. And it worked out beautifully. And I did do a kids class actually one time, and that was a lot of fun. And I can do that at the community center here, or I've done it at senior homes. They've had me come in, and that was just, I was my own boss. I set my own hours, and I could work 3-4 nights a week. I did it in yoga studios, at juice bars, and in restaurants. It was a lot of fun. So I think I'm going to look into doing that. Like I said, once we came out of the lockdown, because I had done it prior and I had made really good money. I attempted to do it again, but at first there wasn't very much interest in it. And then other people jumped in and started doing it. And it just got too competitive. I just couldn't find enough people to do it. So I stopped doing it. But I don't see as many people doing it right now. So I might consider doing that one. I think that might bring in some good money. I only need to work for about 2 more years, just, to bring in a supplemental income, to pay off my car and, my other bills. So I'm completely debt free. So for me, this is ideal. If I could do this for just 2 years, I would be fine. Like I said, it's not a career. I'm not going to do this for the next 10 years, but if I could just do it, and make $200 to $300 a week, I'm good to go. And I think that would be good for a lot of seniors that are on Social Security. It's not strenuous. It's not physically taxing. You're just driving. I don't like driving after dark, so I won't do that. But summer's coming. It stays light out longer. So this would be a good time to get into it if you are. And like I said, it's been fun. I've met some interesting people. I got flashed once. And for the most part, everybody's been really kind. I get a lot of extra tips over and above the app, what they promised you on the app. So that's been fun. And you just, it's a good way to spend the day, just driving around your town. I've got to see parts of my town that I never knew existed. There's some really beautiful parts up here. So it's been fun for that. And that's another thing. I would suggest if you're going to do this, you would know your area, because I can tell right away. I can look at the address. I know where that's at. And that helps me. I'm not like going out on a wild goose chase. So yeah, I think you should consider it. I really do. I think it's a good thing. I don't know about DoorDash or the other ones, how those work, but Uber seems to be good. So, but anyway, so yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about tonight. And I hope you appreciated my whimsy here. The reason for this is somebody had told me that my videos were getting boring. They're monotonous. And so I looked up YouTube videos on how to make my videos more interesting. And I looked up whimsy, bringing in some whimsy, and they said I needed props. And I thought, what better prop? What is more whimsical than a little girl's umbrella, right? It's so whimsical. I'm sure it's going to make a huge difference. So if you like it, give me a thumbs up. Let me know. Also, I was going to answer some questions, but I think I've already talked long enough. I will answer the questions in the next video, except for the ice cream one. Jim Morrison, you wanted to know my favorite ice cream. I love Baskin Robbins, and we have one in the next city over. I like the pralines and cream, but Rocky Road, that's always a good one. I'm the Dairy Queen. Before I lost 56 pounds, you could see me there at least 2-3 times a week. I don't do that anymore. It's been a long time and I miss it. And I hope to one day be able to eat it again, because ice cream was my absolute number one vice, my number one favorite. So yeah, God, I miss it. Anyway, okay, well, you guys take care, and I will see you in the next video.